Hi guys, and welcome to Lizzie Dean Makes. I'm Lizzie Dean, and this is the channel where we make, mend and grow our way to a big life on a small budget. So in today's video I wanted to talk to you about my top tips for hosting Christmas. So if this is the first time that you've been hosting Christmas at your own home, instead of going back to your parents' house or going to your in-laws or something like that for Christmas, where someone else is doing the hosting and you just have to turn up with your gifts. This is a new experience for you. It certainly was for me last year. So I have got together my top tips for getting through hosting Christmas for the first time. So the first thing is, where are your guests going to sleep? You may not have a separate guest bedroom dedicated area. You may have a sofa bed, or you may have an inflatable mattress or something like that. Is it better for you to give up your bed for your parents or your in-laws or whoever's coming to stay to sleep in, and for you to sleep on the camp bed situation? Or is it better for your guests to sleep in the camp bed situation? This is something that particularly came up with us last year, is that we put our in-laws into our tiny little guest bedroom. Now our tiny little guest bedroom, the beds are 5'9" and my in-laws are both shorter than that, so that wasn't a problem, but the beds are bunk beds, low rise bunk beds, so getting into the bottom bunk or getting into the top bunk is a bit of an ask for my in-laws, who are both in their 70s now, and they decided it was just too much hassle for them to go through to sleep in that room. So last year when they came for Christmas, we swapped. So my husband and I slept in the guest bedroom and my in-laws had our bedroom. We've also got a deluxe sofa bed downstairs, so we can actually sleep up to 6, theoretically 7 adults if one of them sleeps on this part of the L-shaped sofa. But obviously there's only one bathroom, so you wouldn't want that many people in your house. But making sure that you sort out where people are going to be sleeping, how they're going to store their belongings when they get here. Are they going to have some hanging space, some drawer space for their clothes to go in? Are they going to live out of their suitcase? Where's their suitcase going to go when they get here? All of that sort of consideration of where your guests are going to be, where their stuff's going to be, and how they're going to be comfortable in that space with their own privacy. The second thing about hosting guests is making sure that you have got supplies for your guests. So this might include towels, face cloths, hair towels and body towels separately, for showering arrangements, but also bedding, clean bedding and sheets for the camp bed situation, or vice versa that you've got. Also making sure that you've got snacks for your guests to snack on. So one of the things that's really important, I think, when you've got people coming to your house, is that they might have a different eating routine when they're at home. So making sure that you've got snacks available so that your guests don't have to feel awkward that they're really hungry and there's nothing to eat. And they don't want to hurt your feelings by asking you for some food when they've just eaten, because it's now dinner time and their body's woken up and said, I'm hungry again. So making sure that there are snacks available to your guests that they can help themselves to, without necessarily you having to know anything about it, is, I think, quite crucial to making sure that they have a pleasant experience when they come and stay with you. Also catering to dietary requirements. So if you've got guests coming who are vegetarian or vegan or pescatarian, or have a gluten or a lactose intolerance or a nut allergy or anything like that, you need to make sure that you know about it and that you cater for those in your snacks and also in your meal plans for the time that your guests are staying with you. Another key thing to think about is toiletries. So will they be bringing their own shampoo and shower gel and toothpaste and all the rest of it? Or if they were meaning to bring their own, what if they forget? So we actually have a basket in our guest room where I've got some spare toothpastes and little sachets of body wash and things like you would get in a hotel, that are just in there, so that if guests do come without and realise they don't have enough, then there's always something there for them to use. Next, you want to think about drinks. So you've obviously going to have soft drinks for drinking throughout the day. Some people, like us, we drink squash almost constantly throughout the day. We don't like water very much. It's just boring. So we like squash, and we have squash all the time. We have big pint glasses of squash on the go all the time because we drink an awful lot, which is supposedly good for you. But other people might be used to drinking tea constantly throughout the day, and not being able to have a brew every 5 minutes might really put them off when they're staying with you. So making sure that you've got adequate supplies of all sorts of different soft drink options, and obviously ask them before they come, you know, what's your favourite soft drink that you drink all the time? You know, what would you like to have to drink when you come? Then also making sure that you've got any alcoholic beverages that you're going to have over the Christmas period, and make sure you know people's preferences when it comes to alcohol. So, you know, you might have someone coming who doesn't drink, who's teetotal, or who is a recovering alcoholic or whatever, and it would be inappropriate to then start offering them alcohol. So make sure that you know these things in advance, because offering people alcoholic beverages or insisting that people drink and join in the spirit is kind of a very British faux pas that we do all the time, where everyone peer pressures other people into drinking. So you don't want to do that to your guests at Christmas. So make sure that you know in advance what their preferences are when it comes to alcohol, whether they're going to be drinking or not, and if they are, what they're going to be drinking, and how much you should have in for them, and then cater to what they've actually said they want rather than what you guess that they might want. The next thing is the actual meal planning. So obviously you're going to need to provide 2 to 3 actually set meals per day. A lot of people don't eat 3 meals a day. We're one of those. We tend to eat 2 meals a day. A lot of people do this. Sometimes they do breakfast and dinner, sometimes they do lunch and dinner. Some people just can't eat that early in the morning and won't have breakfast at all. Other people will eat their main meal in the middle of the day, and they might have a snack at the evening and a snack in the morning, but they won't really eat set meals at other times of day. So make sure you know in advance with your guests what sort of schedule you're going to have for your meals, and plan out what you're actually going to cook for those meals, and make sure that you've got the right things in advance. When you are catering Christmas, the shops are often going to be shut, so making sure that you've got the things in advance, and that those things are able to be stored over until the extra time they're going to be used. So can they be frozen? Are they tinned? Are they dried? What's the best before dates on them? How are you going to store them until you need to use them? Just making sure that everything is taken care of in terms of the food prepped for your meal plan, and that it's all going to still be good when you actually come to use it, and you've got all the ingredients that you need to make the meals that you've planned. Also, you're going to want to have snacks, as we said before about guests wanting snacks, but you're also just going to want to have some things in for snacking on in between meals, as and when people get hungry around Christmas. People often eat due to boredom at Christmas. So there's a big sort of slump in the middle of the day. I think people get up and there's a lot of excitement because it's Christmas and everything happens, and then there's a point in the late afternoon usually for us, but for different families with different day plans and different orders of doing things that might happen at different times, but there tends to be a bit of a lull when everyone's eaten and everyone's full and a bit sleepy, and the mood just drops to this sort of low energy level, and people tend to want to eat then, even if they're not particularly hungry because they've just had a big dinner, but just because they're bored and their energy levels are low and they just feel a bit ugh. So having some snacks on hand, or getting everyone up and involved in an activity or out into the fresh air, is often a good way to revive those energy levels later on in the day. Another thing to bear in mind is that your guests might want some time on their own. Most people, as much as they want to see you and as much as they want to spend time together, they also need some time to just be on their own and relax. Often people feel that they've got to put on a sort of front when they're around other people, where they're happy all the time and they're in a good mood and it's all good and they're, you know, washed and dressed and up and at 'em. But most people actually have a sort of private side when they're slobbing in their PJs and they're just like, oh, I can't be bothered this morning. And you need to make sure that your guests have some time to slump like that and to be their private selves. So if you can possibly give them some private space, so if they are having your bedroom, or they've got the guest bedroom or something, that's great. If they're on the sofa in the living room, making sure that they know that they can go and say sit in your bedroom if they want to go and read for a while or something on their own, just so that they know that there is somewhere that they can go and be on their own for a bit, because most people actually need that alone time. And if you want to avoid getting people so wound up that you end up with family arguments over Christmas, making sure that everyone's got an escape route so that they can go and spend some time on their own if they need to and just relax. That's a great thing to make sure that you keep the morale up and the mood jolly when people are together, is to make sure that they get some time to decompress on their own. And that they've got somewhere that they can go and do that. So make sure that you let your guests know where that is, when that is, and that they know that they've got somewhere they can go away and just be. So those are my top tips for hosting Christmas. If you've got any other suggestions that I might have missed, if you've been hosting Christmas for many years and you do it a completely different way, then please feel free to give some hints and tips to other people who are maybe hosting Christmas for the very first time. Down in the comments section below. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little notification icon if you would like to hear more frugal small space living hints and tips from myself. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.